And look at that. We are live on the MBL Network here on YouTube.com/Madden Bomber League. It is highly debatable. Episode number 20. That's right, folks. Turning 20. Next episode, we get to drink legally. But we know we've all been drinking a little bit since then. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man, Sonny. Sonny, it's been a while since we've been here on Highly Debatable. It's been a crazy June. We've had EA play. We've had the beta, of course, come out. We're heading towards Madden 19. My question for you, Sonny, is have you been practicing your debating skills at home? Maybe using a mirror or a family pet?
No, I don't need to. I'm always ready and willing to argue about anything and everything, and that is why I will close out the season here victorious.
Well, I know probably some of you have it memorized, but we might as well show the scorecard, Sonny, because there are some people out there who don't keep up as completely, maybe as thoroughly as they should. They should probably know the score, though, but we'll show it to you. It's, of course, a 5-5 ball game, because that's how we do it here on Highly Debatable. You guys vote. We get ties. So, again, if it's your first time joining us, welcome to Highly Debatable, our video live debate show. After round 3, in the chat, vote hashtag OSU wins or hashtag Sonny wins to determine the winner of this episode and the winner of this season. I'm hoping to make it 2 seasons in a row. So, everybody vote for this guy because he's pretty great. Don't vote for, he may have a hat on, but he is free and clear underneath there. Captain Baldy over there, Sonny Weaver. Just a note for people at home. I know some of you may be looking for that HD stock exchange. And I know you guys are like, hey, please bring it to us. I have some bad news. There's no HD stock exchange. For one reason and one reason only. It's week 8. Like, doing a stock exchange right now, we'd probably only get one chance to trade teams. Making picks at this point would be a little silly. But rest assured, there will be an HD stock exchange for Season 33, so that's not going anywhere. And we're going to be trying out some new segments. I'm literally dropping this on Sunday right now. Hey, we're going to be trying out some new segments in our next couple of episodes. We're hoping to run maybe 3 or 4 before the end of Season 32. That's the hope. That's the prayer. But we're going to be trying out some new stuff here in these next couple of episodes, and then stock exchange will return. So, Sonny, you may apologize to everybody for not having stock exchange, because it's clearly your fault.
Yeah, obviously it's my fault, but no, the new segments, we'll get them rolled out here. Got a couple ideas, actually. Yeah. I'm glad OSU brought it up. I actually had a couple ideas for some. So
look at that. See, that's how in tune we are. That's called good hosting. Like, that's why we're the best, and nobody else has a video debate show out there. Again, hashtag OSU wins, hashtag Sonny wins. After round 3, Sonny, are you ready to get this debate a-rolling?
Yeah, let's close this bad boy out.
All right, let's get to round 1. And in round 1, it is the talk of the town, folks. It is the Denver Broncos, who are sitting at 7-1. No, don't adjust your screens. Don't see if that was a typo. There is no typo. Those Denver Broncos are 7-1, and they are atop the AFC West. And this is their upcoming schedule, so you guys know sort of what's down the line. Packers, the toughest games on here, of course. You're looking, even though they are not, by the way, having a great season. That Chargers game, 2 games left against the Kansas City Chiefs, who are always tough. The Minnesota Vikings, a tough game. Finishing in the last 2 games with that Patriots-Kansas City Chiefs. But, Sonny, here's my question for you. How much are you believing in this Denver Broncos team? They're 7-1, and by the way, they have some great wins under their belt. They have beaten the Detroit Lions. They have beaten the Oakland Raiders twice. It's less good than the Lions, but they have beaten them twice. They've beaten the LA Chargers. Again, another team maybe looked better before the season. They're struggling this year. How much are you believing in them? What is their ceiling this season?
Well, right now, folks, I'm going to tell you this is my title, by the way. I am all aboard the Pony Express. Dude, we are pulling out of the station. If you want to get on this.
It wasn't the Pony Express. It was horses. That's why it's called the Pony Express. There's no train whistle.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, carry on. Sorry, carry on.
But no, what I'll tell you is I am all 100% in on the Denver Broncos in the regular season. And I want to add that caveat in there because that's what I believe they are. I believe they're regular season superstars that will get waxed first round of the playoffs. But you know what? It's all about perspective, and ownership there has struggled throughout the years. And frankly, I think this is a good positive step for the organization. I think they're only going to lose maybe 1 or 2 possibly games down this stretch. I think they drop at least 1 to the Chiefs. There's another tough one in there with the Vikings, I think. But other than that, you know, honestly, I really like this team. I think the moves they made in free agency, we talked about it coming into this season that they really had some nice pickups in free agency. They solidified the defense. I think they are set up to actually do some damage. I just don't think it's going to carry into the postseason.
I am with you 100%, and I'll give slightly different reasons, but I'm with.
Well, then do the toot sound.
Yeah.
Do it.
Toot, toot.
Boom. Got him.
Here's the thing. And this is where my concern comes in with the Denver Broncos. Are they sitting there at 7-1? Absolutely. 7-point win over the Detroit Lions. Lions blew a late fourth quarter lead. Broncos came back to win. They've got a 3-point win over the 7-1 New York Jets. They've got a 12-point win over the 2-5 Chargers. The Chargers team that is, albeit not very good this year, but always a tough competition. They have a lot of wins here. 13-10 against the Buffalo Bills. I'm just not wholeheartedly impressed by a lot of these, and the one that concerns me is they got beat 24-3 by the Miami Dolphins. And while the Dolphins are a great story at 4-4, they're not a particularly talented team. They're coming out of their bye week. I'm with you. Their schedule, it favors them. They've got two games against 1-win teams. They've got the 2-6 Colts. They've got the Chargers once again at 2-5. They've got the Patriots, who we saw on NBL Live, get sort of whacked by the New York Jets, who this team beat. So I think the division is theirs to lose. Unless we see some monumental collapse, they're going to win this division. But here's the caveat. This is why they're going to get smoked in the first round of playoffs. They're not getting the number 1 seed in the AFC. That is going, of course, to the Cleveland Browns, who are at 8-0 and look like the strongest team out there right now. They're going to get that number 2 seed, and they're going to get matched up, presumably, against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are going to run this team off the field. And it's a great story. I know DB has been, one of the big things he's been talking about is, I just want to make the playoffs. Sonny, there's no chance that he misses, right? Like, it would take a monumental collapse to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if mathematically he could, in fact, miss the playoffs. I mean, I guess the Chiefs could catch up to him.
I mean, if he loses out, he gets at what? He's at 7-9 if he loses out. I mean, technically, it's very possible.
It would be difficult.
But with the schedule that's upcoming.
Right. All things considered, I don't think he can miss the playoffs. But you know what? It may actually benefit him, to your point, to not be the 2 seed, to maybe even fall for that 4 seed. So maybe the tanking comes back into his blood, and he, just can't help himself and tries to get down to that 4 seed.
I mean, it is for me, the biggest thing about this Broncos team, the biggest thing I don't think anybody gets who hasn't been there. The playoffs are a different animal. It's a different way to play. You just have a different, I don't know, set of skills that unless you have that playoff test ability. It's why I'm always going to pick teams who have that playoff test over teams who are there for the first time. And I look at the AFCs. I think the Cleveland Browns are better than this team. I think the New York Jets, even though they lost to the Denver Broncos, are better than this team, especially from what we've seen the last couple weeks in the emergence of their running back, Busey. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Denver Broncos, I think, are very similar teams. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers more than this team. I like the Kansas City Chiefs a little more than this team, and I think the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm going to call it right now, I think the Chiefs win both of the games against the Broncos coming up. I think this Broncos team, though, still finishes at 12-4. I still think they're probably the 2 or 3 seed. If they get that 3 seed, Sonny, I think we're going to have a very interesting first-round playoff matchup between the Broncos and the Jaguars, and it's going to be a big battle of which of these teams do you believe in more?
Wait, the 3 seed. So you're saying the Jaguars end up a wild card?
Yeah, I think so. No, I think that.
Oh, interesting.
I saw. Here's the problem, Sonny. Here's the problem. I was calling that game with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that they lost their second game. I watched it happen. I don't believe in it. Now, here's what does work for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know a nice little point this out right away. Their schedule down the stretch is cupcake-tastic. It is like a big old ice cupcake. And then, so I think the Broncos, maybe best scenario, as you said, if they drop into that 3 seed, they match up 6. But again, who's going to be that second wild card team? Is there a wild card team? I mean, can the Broncos beat this team?
Titans. Boom.
Okay. Where are the Titans sitting right now?
Don't worry about it.
They're 3-5.
Look at the rest of the AFC. We'll get it under control. Let's move on.
It'll be interesting to watch this team. But again, you can't take away what they are doing out in Denver. Let's get to round 2. And from such a nice story to such a sad story, let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens and their fall from grace. Last year, 11-5. One of the big surprises, not just in the AFC, but in the entire NBL. Especially playing in that division with 2 great teams in the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. This year, though, Yeah, you could say less so. 2-5, and I think 2-5, they're probably better than most people thought they'd be with the numbers that they have. Sonny, the question I think for the Ravens is, what has happened in the last year, and is there a positive outlook? I know it's the last season of the cycle, but maybe for the 5-year sim. I'll take this first. It's bad news Bears in Baltimore. I look at those offensive numbers, under 200 yards total per game. Second worst in the NBL. I look at that passing yardage, 31st at 159.1 yards. Sonny, this team is frankly horrendous offensively. Their defense is trying to keep them in games, but when this offense goes 3 and out every single drive, the defense can only do so much. Oh, and they play in the AFC North with 2 great teams. Sonny, do you see a light at the end of the tunnel? Choo-choo. Is there any positivity for this Ravens team?
Oh, quote the Raven, nevermore. They are done. And unfortunately, you talked about the AFC North, but the reality is they haven't even seen the strength of the AFC North yet. They still have 2 games against the Cleveland Browns left. They have a game against the Pittsburgh Steelers left. Don't forget, oh, by the way, still a Seahawks team sitting at 6-1, waiting to go at it. And, a couple other decent teams down the stretch. I think their one chance to maybe blow someone out is the Bengals, but they got the Colts, and the Colts are always sneaky. They can catch people. I think best case for the Ravens, you're looking at 4-12. And to think about it, that is a huge kind of move off of what we saw last year. They were just, one bad field goal away from being maybe the representative in the Super Bowl. Who knows what would happen in that AFC Championship game. So it's kind of a crazy thing to look at. I don't know what fell apart there for this team. You watched this team last year, and they were a team that the defense played really well. They were able to get things done when it mattered. And you look at this team this year, they're the worst passing team in the league. They're the worst rushing team in the league. The Stats and Info tweet the other day, they are absurdly horrible on offense this year. Like, you can't even move the freaking ball. Baltimore, what happened?
Well, and here's what I will say, because I'm looking back. I'm trying to figure out what happened in Baltimore. And the offensive step back is, of course, a big tip-off. I'm going to read you the stat. This is crazy as I pull it. Last year, Andrew Luck completed 65% of his passes, 8.9 yards per throw, 11 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 81.9. This year, he's completing 66% of his passes for 9.9 yards per completion, 8 touchdowns and interceptions, quarterback rating of 87.9. Andrew Luck is playing better than he did last year in every statistical category. Sure, shout out to the Ravens flock. Shout out to WCW. But here's the problem. The defense was really compensating for them last year, Sonny. You mentioned him. This defense was really good last year. This year, they've taken a step back. They're not bad, but they were overcompensating. But I'm also looking at their schedule last year, and every time I see a good team on the schedule last year, Baltimore Ravens lost to them. Okay, they lost. They had a great win in Week 8 against the 13-3 Cleveland Browns, 36-10, and that's where everybody believed in them. But they lost 26-12 to the 9-7 Patriots. They lost both games to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They actually lost all 3 games to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They lost to the Browns in Week 16 by 3. All these wins are against the 2-14 Dolphins, the 5-11 Bengals. They beat the 8-8 Jets. The problem is, I think last year they were just, at 11 wins, because you look at a team who got that third-place schedule in the AFC. They played a lot of mediocre teams to bad teams. They won every game they should have. They picked up a couple they got lucky in, and that got them to the playoffs. This year, though, everybody's expecting them. Nobody's counting these guys out, and the defense isn't playing at a high enough level. Sonny, this Ravens team, I think they are exactly what they thought they were. They just had a pretty fortunate season last year.
Well, but you can't explain some of these things. What about the 32-7 blowout by the Houston Texans? There's just some things that have been unexplainable this year. And I think the hidden stat this year versus last year is Alvin Kamara only rushing for 3 yards a carry, about 3.5 Last year, he was over 5 yards a carry. I think this team is built to run, play solid defense. They can't run this year. They're trying to throw a little bit more, but in the end, they need to kind of get that ball control offense going. And if they don't get that run game going, I don't think this team can win. I think they're dependent on the run. We've seen teams in the past be that way, and in the end, they just aren't getting the running going.
Yeah, they need some sort of shot in the arm offensively to have any sort of. I don't even think there's any hope this year. This team is destined for a top 10 pick, but maybe for the 5-year sim, they might get some love. Let's get to round 3. Sonny, I know you want to talk about this. How good has Leonard Fournette been for the Jacksonville Jaguars? 866 yards. Best in the NBL. His career best was in season 29, 1,295 yards. That was for the entire season, folks. He's at 866 through week 8. Is Leonard Fournette, Sonny Weaver, right here, highly debatable, episode number 20. Put yourself on the record. Is Leonard Fournette the best running back in the NBL?
No, he's not. Leonard Fournette right now is a healthy running back in NBL. But not the best. I think Deshaunte Busey right now is running better and will catch Fournette at some point in this season. But if you want to know the best running back in NBL, it's my very own Tennessee Titans, Bryant Vance. Out with injury. However, 60 carries for 98 yards. What can I say? He's just a better running back, 8.3 yards a carry. Double up his numbers, and you're looking at a much better rushing average right now than Leonard Fournette. I do think Fournette goes down with an injury at some point here. He is kind of prone to doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Leonard Fournette finishes at about 1,100 yards this year.
First of all, I think you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Let's start with Leonard Fournette is going to finish, I think, somewhere around 1,600 yards, maybe a little better. Depends on if Unisolated decides to erroneously bench him in week 17. Let's start there.
1,600 yards. Okay. You keep going with that. Let me check something real quick for you here.
Carry on. And again, I get this is a guy. He's had injury troubles in the past. He's been relatively healthy for the last couple of seasons. Comparatively, the first 3. I mean, he only had his top in the first 3 seasons was 651 yards because he got injured so much. But he is. He had 235 carries in 2021, 213 in 2020. He had 195 carries last year. He's 122 already this year, so he's at a high workload. 7.1 per carry is by far the highest that he's been. He's getting some help from an offensive line that has really not helped him out at times. And again, he coming off a loss at New Orleans where the offensive line didn't do a whole lot for him. But the week before against the Cleveland Browns, that's right, the Cleveland Browns with Myles Garrett on the line, with that defense that is really one of the best in the NBL, he went off for an average of 16.8 per carry, 201 yards. I mean, Fournette, I think this season is the best running back in the NBL. I think he is great because unlike your running back, Sonny Weaver, he's not currently laying in a bed nursing a boo-boo. Busey is cool, and he had a great game on NBL Live. But I also watched Busey a couple weeks before on NBL Live. He looked pretty pedestrian, and he hasn't really been consistently good for this Jets team. I think Fournette is the best there is this year until he breaks a leg, and then he's less good.
Hey, let's talk about that NBL Live. You want to go back to Jacksonville, New Orleans, where Leonard Fournette rushed 18 times for 41 yards, 2.3 yards a carry.
6.5.
The worst performance by any of the running backs in the top 5 this year.
9 point. 7 point.
Right.
16 points.
Every
game but one, he has.
Wait a second. Hold on, and let's listen. This is a what have you done for me lately league, and we see what he's done for us lately.
What has Vance done for you lately? I couldn't hear you. What was that?
Shadow is known for getting a little off kilter, right? He started off great this year. He was doing everything. Everything seemed so great. But you said earlier, and let me just remind you of this, you think he somehow falls to a wild card. How is he going to fall to the wild card unless
Because
I
do not trust Daniel Shirley.
So if you don't trust Shadow, that means Leonard Fournette's not doing what he said. You've contradicted yourself.
What?
He's not getting 1,600 yards and finishing a wild card.
Whoa. First of all,
Leonard Fournette goes off.
First of all, your correlation is completely wrong. Hey, how can you like Rocky Road while also being a Democrat? Those things aren't related. He can still lose a lot of games because Daniel Shirley throws interceptions at a high rate. And Leonard Fournette can run. We have seen
Fournette.
plenty. We've seen the Los Angeles Chargers, Sonny.
Because of Leonard Fournette.
Sonny, we have seen the LA Chargers win many games because of Melvin Gordon, not because of Carson Wentz, who throws a lot of interceptions.
We just talked about how great Leonard Fournette
So wait, but let's go back to you.
He's going to win because of Daniel Sherry? What are you talking
He's
about?
not. Daniel Shirley's not. Or I'm sorry, Leonard Fournette's not fumbling the ball over. I watched Daniel Shirley throw 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter in that New Orleans game. I didn't see Leonard Fournette punting the ball away. But let's stop for a second. Let's go to your two guys. No. I listened to your crap. Let's go to your two guys. Your running back, Bryant Vance, what have you done for me lately? He's been a great job laying on the bench, not doing anything, so 0.0 is still less than the 2.6 that Leonard Fournette had. And Busey had a great game against New England, 22 yards per carry, absolutely fantastic. All of his games since then, he's had 3 games with sub 2.5 per yard, sub 2.5 average per carry. That's 3 games. Sonny Weaver, that is 2 more than Leonard Fournette has. And you're sitting here going, Fournette's had the worst one.
Oh, shoot. I will go out on a limb right now. You ready for this? Here we go. I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say Bryant Vance finishes with more yards than Leonard Fournette. Watch.
I will sit here and go on a limb and say Bryant Vance is going to finish with less yards, but he's going to be not only sitting for more times than Leonard Fournette, but he won't be home. He'll be at home watching the playoffs on his TV clicker while Sonny Weaver and his under 500 Tennessee Titans watch.
You just flopped. You said he was going to be a wild card team. So who's going to win that division then?
I said he has a chance to have a wild card team.
Who's going to win the division?
I also said, if you remember, if you listen, Sonny Weaver, if you listen, I also said he actually probably won't lose that division because his finishing schedule is cupcake. And Shadow messaged me after his game on New Orleans when I ripped him to new one. He goes, yeah, but I don't care. My schedule's cupcake. And I looked at it. It is not very good, but it's going to be great to watch Bryant Vance have sub 1,000 yards this year. It's going to be awesome. Let's get to shout out. Shout out time here on the NBL Network, and a reminder, folks, this is your moment. Vote hashtag OSU wins if you're smart. Vote hashtag Sonny wins if you like bald liars. I mean, whatever. Just do whatever you want. It is shout out time here on the NBL Network. I got to give a big shout out. Sonny, we were on the call last night for what I think would be generously called the craziest NBL Live in the history of NBL Lives. So I got to give a big shout out to the EA Madden NFL team. To Official Mole, and to everybody who tuned in last night. We ended up getting some amazing, some unbelievable support. We got some beta codes that we were able to give out last night on the stream. If you missed it, it's archived here on youtube.com/Madden Bomber League. But it was absolutely fantastic, Sonny. The energy in the chat was unbelievable. We had a ton of people. I think we ended up picking up. By the way, we turned off the stream. We had 700 subs, so we gained 99 during the stream last night. I looked right now, we're at 713 on Twitch. We picked up another 13, and we haven't even streamed anything yet. Ton of support, a lot of people coming in positive about the CFM movement, positive about our product. So I got a big shout out to EA and to Official Mole and to everybody who tuned out there. And a big shout out to Sonny Weaver for holding the microphone while I talked on the phone with Bomber. Getting 3 phone calls in the middle of a stream, Sonny, I would not recommend it.
Yeah, that was a really fun moment. There were Bombers just calling in. We got live updates. Too bad you didn't have the breaking news.
I know, I should have.
Little intro.
I thought for sure when Bomber calls me during it, that usually means something's on fire. So I was like, uh-oh, what happened?
Hold on, I gotta correct somebody. Double A uploads. Actually, people did vote for me. It was hashtag bald liars. He changed it, so there you go. Hashtag bald liars. I've got some votes. Anyways,
getting smoked.
Shout out to Dark Brawlers. You know,
DB.
As much as we give him crap,
3 times shout out.
Having a good season, but that's actually not why I'm shouting him out. I'm actually shouting him out because he cannot type quick enough to get a beta code. In fact, folks, they released 150 beta codes before we went live on here. Tried to send it to Dark Brawlers, and he still can't get one. At this point, he needs to just hang it up, call it a day. It's over. We'll see you in August, DB. Good luck there. Shout out.
So in the NBL typing competition, DB's coming dead last, right?
Oh, way
last. It won't be pretty. Poor DB. We know he wants that beta code. I'm 100% sure if he got DM'd a beta code, Sonny, he still wouldn't put it in time. They'd be like, it's January 3rd. I'm sorry. You don't have time to keep putting it in. But hey, if you have that beta, let's do our PSA right now. Don't share any gameplay. Don't share any screenshots. Don't do it. Draco, the whole DB codes fiasco has been hilarious. I'm just saying, I think, Sonny, I'm gonna make a bold prediction right now. Next year, he will be able to get a code for the beta because he will have taken a typing class in 8th grade, so that'll be great for him. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, well, hey, Joe Cook, just a little point about the game sharing thing. We tried to give him beta codes. All he had to do was game share. He wouldn't do it. So, you know what? Sometimes the only thing you can do is blame yourself.
Rip DB. Rip DB, not Darth Ben, Dark Brawler. Hey, we appreciate you tuning in to Highly Debatable, episode number 20. I think we're looking, Sonny, Wednesday night? Is that what we're looking at, maybe? Maybe another one of these bad boys? Perhaps?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe we'll roll out a couple new segments. Yeah. Obviously, this is the end of season 2 here. We're going to get a couple in here before the end. You know, maybe a couple new segments. Maybe we title them
we gotta use the stream deck.
Debatable extra innings and see where we go.
Love it. We got to try out the stream deck. I want to put some sounds on here. I want bam, 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 bam. That's all I want.
Oh, wait. OSU, maybe Lake House, NBL Lake House. We do a live Highly Debatable from the Lake House.
The NBL Lake House. HD NBL. Look, we got a lot of stuff going on, folks. So make sure you follow along with Highly Debatable. Make sure you follow along with our Twitch, twitch.tv/NBL Network. We've got NBL Live games coming up this week. That schedule is getting made right now, actually. Hey, if you're out there, you're in the NBL Network, fill out your schedule. For my co-host, Sonny Weaver, I'm OSU. Thank you for tuning in to Highly Debatable, episode number 20. We will see you next time right here on the NBL Network.